this hour. Welcome to the book gathering with Dori and Tara, and we have Sarah here.
Yay.
You notice how the people we hire always end with an Tara, Sarah, Dori. I'm the exception. I feel like a lot taller than you. What happened?
I think I
look
the same height over there with you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just feel taller for a change. Yeah. That's good.
I still look taller on the camera than you. It's so weird.
That's good. Good thing we have hydraulic chairs. Well, welcome everyone. This week we have an exciting chapter to go over. It's all about how to introduce new profitable revenue streams. So we're on chapter 3 from the How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa. Now, if you already have the book, great. We're going to dive into how to have profitable revenue streams today. And if you don't have the book, well, you better get your hands on one. So we have shared with everybody how you can get your hands on one. You can either go to the website InSPArationmanagement.com, or you can go on Amazon and get a copy. Either way, you definitely need it so you can benefit the most out of our time together as we do this a couple of times a month. So super excited about today.
People are jumping in saying, hi, Dori, hi, Tara. So we're so happy all of you are here as well with us.
So October is a very special month, isn't it?
Yes.
My team surprised me last week. I came into the office and they had all these decorations and happy birthday hats and balloons and cake. And it was fun.
It was.
Thank you, team. Yes, I am 1 year older.
You don't look any older.
We had our photo shoot last week too. We have brand new images coming out soon.
I can't wait
and
to see them.
you know, I showed some people and I said, look, I'm 58 years old now. And they're like, oh, I can't believe you're 58.
That's true. I can comment that I can't believe you're 58.
Isn't that nice? Oh, so sweet. I feel all the love from everybody. Thank you all for wishing me a happy birthday. October is a fun month for me, not because it's my birthday, but I just love the change in the seasons. I have a friend of mine in Michigan that was sending me pictures of all the leaves changing already. It just looks so beautiful. I just love October for that reason.
Yeah, I miss not traveling because we got to see more of it when we traveled, but we're slowly getting there in Florida. I'm sure everybody else is way ahead of us.
Yeah. So go ahead and let us know you're here. Chat, say hello. Put in there what's on your mind. What have you implemented for the first 2 chapters so far? Remember, in part 1, we're talking about financial health and how important it is for you to have a healthy business, one that is profitable. And that's really what this 4-chapter part 1 is all about. It's getting you to set the proper foundation financially for your business so you can keep growing and keep expanding. And no matter what is going on in the world today, you're still on a positive movement moving forward. That's really what we want to talk about. Now, in every single session, we've been focusing on the mistakes people make. How can you avoid them? How can you basically get to success the fastest way possible with the right mindset, of the team, their buy-in, truly getting everybody to gain momentum and then heading towards a more profitable business.
And we talk about the skills that they need for each and every piece. And then we have questions that were submitted from people reading chapters before. As you know, we're always preparing in advance here. So we have some questions that came that I will be asking Dori, and she'll be answering them and giving us all her knowledge.
These are actually your questions too.
Yes. Well, mine and questions that clients have been submitting to us. So I really love reading. I know we've done this book just a little bit not too long ago, but I love breaking this down.
We did it fast.
Each week. I really love breaking it down.
Yeah. So it's better to go slower than faster when you're trying to really implement things and make your business a better place to begin with. So today I want you to grab a pen and a paper because we're going to go over a lot of important information. And if you already read the chapter, you probably noticed there are some things that you definitely need to start focusing on. And again, it's all about the revenue streams that you can have in your business that are profitable revenue streams. So let's go ahead and start. So if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat box and we'll try to get to as many as we can.
Yeah. And if you're live on YouTube or Instagram, go ahead and type the questions in and Sarah will field those to us, and that way we can get your questions answered as well. So let's get going here. So one thing I noticed, Dori, right off the bat, the first word is profitable.
Yes.
How do they know right now if they're being profitable?
There are so many ways to, it's really knowing the numbers and looking at the P&L statements and seeing where the money is going and how much they're getting to keep. But the part here that we want to focus on that's profitable is actually each treatment. So what my advice will be for you, if you're already in business, because we have different types of people joining us, some people are just starting out and some people are already in business. But if you're already in business, when we're talking about profitable revenue streams, I don't want you to just look at the P&L statement and see if you're profitable with everything. Now, of course, you have to do that. But what I would like you to focus on here is actually dicing up every revenue stream, every department, if you will, and make sure that those treatments within that department are profitable. That's really the first thing you should really look at. So I want you to picture, in the book, I start out by saying, you know, picture this pond or lake, and you have all these different streams coming into your lake. So the lake is your business, right? So you could have all these different departments coming in. You could have your injectable department. You can have your laser department. You can have your weight loss, your sexual health, just whatever you have, your IV therapy. You have all these different departments within your business. And it's very important as an entrepreneur to really figure out which one of these revenue streams are making you the most amount of money. But you know what's funny is a lot of people always ask me, you know, what's the most profitable treatment in a medical spa? And my answer is always, every treatment should be profitable, or else why have that treatment? So pricing plays a big role in all these revenue streams that you have going on. And realizing and knowing the numbers and realizing how each department is actually generating revenue for you, or if it's a healthy department or if it's not a healthy department, that's really where I want them to start. And if you're a brand new business, you're just starting out, then of course we need to forecast all these things on how much we can charge for this particular treatment. And then once you take out all your expenses, we'll dive into that here in a little bit, how much are we getting to keep? So it doesn't matter whether you're already in business or not. The difference really is if you're in business, you have historical data to really figure this out. And if you're brand new, you just have to forecast. So yes, profits are one of the most important things, or else why be in business, right? So you have to be profitable.
And you keep saying forecast for new people. That can go back to that business plan we've already discussed. That's where they're going to pull some of that. Yeah. So let me ask you, Dori, how does someone determine those revenue streams? You just keep saying revenue streams, revenue streams. How do they determine that?
So when you are in business or when you're starting a business, either way, you have to think of all the different ways you are going to generate money in your business. So when you're looking at developing your menu, that's really how you're deciding. So best advice I can give you is to do your market research and find out exactly what are some of the voids in your area that are not being fulfilled. What treatments are not being fulfilled, or what concerns your consumers have that we're not addressing. And how do we find this out? I highly recommend doing either a focus group, or if you're already in business, you can do a survey to your present database and see what would be the best way to introduce new things if you want to introduce something new. So it's for every single item that is on your menu, it should be a solution for something that consumers are looking for. So if your consumers are looking to have more beautiful skin, then of course you have to do all the treatments that can give them more beautiful skin. If your consumers want to look thinner, then you have to have the weight loss program. If they want to have thicker hair, then you have to have hair growth. So it all depends on what is the demand, and then fulfilling that demand by deciding which treatment I'm going to offer. And then that treatment becomes that revenue stream for your med spa.
Well, you know, revenue streams are not only treatments, gift cards. So many people miss the option of online gift cards as a revenue stream as
Absolutely. Well, you have online and you have offline. Yes, for sure.
So, and that's a really great revenue. I mean, every website we build, online gift card.
That's my favorite because it's passive income.
Right.
And I love passive income. As a matter of fact, during the coronavirus, we convinced almost every member of ours, every community member, I've talked about it enough, to have an online shopping cart. And with that online shopping cart, you have opportunities to make money, whether it's making a reservation, whether it's buying a gift card, whether it's buying products, whether it's reserving consultations. I mean, those are all opportunities for you. So you're absolutely right, Tara. So you have all your in-person revenue streams that when people are calling in and coming in, and then you have your online revenue stream that you need to take into consideration for sure.
Well, and I actually was talking to someone this morning about their gift card or their first-time visitor gift card that we built on their website, and she's like, do I really need to put a lot of focus in working that? And I'm like, yes, you need to put a lot of focus. So she's like, okay, we've been doing that wrong, we're going to change that up right away, because she's like, I didn't even realize that. So
that's the most important thing.
Yes, you gotta work them, right? They don't just show up on their own. So let me ask you, here in the book, Dori, you mentioned, even though you bring a story up of someone that you've worked with in the past, and someone could be generating a massive amount of gross revenue, but yet they're not profitable, right? So what do you think keeps people from being more profitable?
Actually, it's a simple answer to that, because it all starts with the price. So if your price is out of whack, and if it's not covering enough of your expenses, those 4 financial ratios that we talked about in previous modules, then you're not going to be profitable. So the price is what drives profitability. And if your price, and you're playing the price war games with your competition, because you know there's a bunch of crazy people out there that are still doing Groupons and whatever else they do to give away the farm, you know, advertising billboards of $8.99 for Botox. I mean, that's never gonna fly, because you're not gonna make any money that way. So the price is what drives all that. And just to recap those 4 financial ratios for you. So for example, you have to take into consideration when you're pricing something, you have to take into consideration your operating cost, right? How much, what percentage of the overall price is your operating cost? You have to take your product cost into consideration. And God knows if you have consumables, those could be outrageous. So you definitely have to account for them. Then you have your human capital. How much are you going to pay a team member to actually do that? Once you apply these 3, then you see how much profit you're going to get to keep. And that's the number you definitely need to have at about 15 to 20%. And if it's not, then you have to go back up and raise the price to allow you to make that, because your operating cost and your human capital cost is always going to be there. The product cost might vary a little bit, but no matter what, you still want to make at least 15 to 20% in profit. And if you don't do that, then you're definitely not going to be very profitable. And you know what's really sad about this is a lot of people, they just don't listen. They pick a price out of a hat. It's like, okay, you know, that sounds good. Let's just charge $120 for a facial. Like, what the heck? What are you, crazy? So you have to there is a science to pricing. It's not just wake up one morning and picking a number and say, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to charge. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people that actually do that. Or they look at their competition's website, see how much they're charging. Oh, that sounds good. Let's just do the same thing. You can't do that. And that's why it's very important to use that pricing calculator and make sure that you allow also the discounting in here. Because if you price it, and then let's say you want to include a membership model, or you want to include an event model where you're going to make some reduction in the pricing, then you want to make sure that you still have that buffer. So even when you discount, you're able to actually still make a profit. So you definitely want to keep that in mind.
It's a lot of knowledge, Dori, that you give in this book. And sitting down and continuously checking their pricing is so important. So let me ask you, how does someone assess their menu? And then you keep talking about revenue streams. So say we have someone that's live with us and they don't have that online gift card revenue stream, or they want to introduce a new treatment. How do they go about introducing a new revenue stream?
Yeah. So back to what we talked about a little bit. So I would do an assessment to my current menu. See what's being profitable, what's not. So start from where you are now, and then decide what else can I bring to the table to my consumers, but still be part of my values and who I am. So if you specialize in anti-aging, you can't all of a sudden say, okay, I'm going to do nails now. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? And, you know, you think that that's crazy, but we get phone calls like this. We just had one, a member of ours, medical spa, all of a sudden wants to do massages. I'm like,
yeah, that's true.
But you have nothing to do with massages. Your positioning has absolutely nothing to do with massages. Why do you want to bring in massage now all of a sudden? Oh, but because we have a person on our team now that can do massage. Oh, okay, well, what happens when that person leaves? You're gonna keep having massages? Well, probably not. Then you don't want to do massages. So those are the kind of things that sometimes I don't know what happens up here, but all of a sudden, like, you try to be everything to everybody. So the first thing you really need to determine is your own positioning. What do you stand for? What do you want to offer? What's your concept? What's your theme? What's your philosophy about what we're doing here? And as long as you stay true to that, then you can offer all kinds of things, yes, but stick to that positioning, which is very, very important, which some people just don't do that. And you really need to do that. And I would start with a focus group or a survey. So if you're already in business and you don't know what kind of new treatments you should offer, then I would get a focus group together. Some of my clients, I would take an A, B, and a C client, like I've showed you before how to divide them up, bring them into a meeting and have a conversation. You know, what do you like of our menu now? What is not on here that you are going somewhere else to get right now? How can we help you more? What kind of solutions? What are some of your challenges? What are some of your concerns? What would you really like to experience in a medical spa? And when you have that conversation, oh my gosh, you're gonna see light bulbs going off all over the place. That's going to give you so much information to realize what would be the best thing to add.
I think sometimes it's just that, back to that simple question, ask. So many people forget to ask. You know, is their client interested in that? Exactly what you just said.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I have a sample in here in this chapter on how to do a survey. And it's actually, you know, I believe in segmenting your database. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the marketing section of this book. But for right now, doing a survey, and you have to be careful how you phrase the survey. And that's why it's important for you to read this part. Because all you have to do is say, for example, XYZ Med Spa is considering expanding its menu. Please indicate below your level of interest. And then let's say you're going to bring in weight loss. Then you can say weight management. Extremely interested, somewhat interested, not interested. Maybe you want to bring in IV therapy. Extremely interested, somewhat interested, not interested. So when you create a survey like this of all the things you think you want to bring in, then your database is going to tell you. You have to bribe them, by the way, to do a survey. They're not going to just do it. So you might want to include a gift card with it, please take, and don't make it too long, maybe 5 questions. So it's like a 1-minute survey. And in your email, it should say, please take this less than a minute survey to help us expand the med spa menu. And for doing so, you will receive a $20 gift card or whatever. And that gives them a reason, enticing reason to actually do it. And then when you use SurveyMonkey or some platform like this, when you get back the results, you're going to be able to run a report and see how many people said yes to weight loss. Oh my gosh, 80%? That's definitely a good indication to offer it. How many wanted sexual health? Oh, only 20%? Well, maybe that's not the right program for you. So the more you know about your consumers, who they are and what they're looking for, the better off you're going to be.
Wow. Love it. So let me ask you, what are some of the must-have treatments in the med spa industry, since we're talking about new revenue streams and, you know, they may be considering bringing on some new ones? What's some must-have treatments?
Well, it really depends on how deep their pockets are, because somebody could have this, you know, ginormous vision of, oh, I want to offer this, 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 and that. And as we all know, once you start buying lasers, I mean, you're going into debt, major debt. And you want to really sit back and think where you are financially. How healthy are you financially? How deep are your pockets? And if your pockets are deep, then maybe buying expensive lasers is not going to be that pressure on your shoulders that, you know, it's going to drive you crazy and bring stress to your daily life. So you have to really be careful. That's really the first question they should be asking themselves before they go into new revenue streams.
So and even before they do their survey, should they do the survey first and then decide, yes, my pockets are deep enough or no?
Yeah, no, they should really find out how much money do I have to invest, because those are the treatments I'm going to put on my survey.
Okay.
There's no point in asking somebody, are you interested in this, if I have no intentions to bring it in at all, or I don't have the money to bring it in. That would not be a good situation. So the first thing I would want you to do is determine how much revenue are you willing to commit into this new revenue stream. That's really the first step. So if you're thinking about buying a laser, or if you're thinking about buying a hydrofacial, or if you're thinking about doing microneedling or this or that, you want to take a look at what is the investment and what is the return on my investment. How long is it going to take me before I start making money with this particular new revenue stream? And if you don't take those things into consideration, then you're really setting yourself up for failure. As a matter of fact, a lot of people tell me, Dori, you're always sharing success stories, but do you have some bad stories? Yeah, we have some bad stories because people don't listen. I have this one client in Kentucky. She did not listen. Though she was a member, she came to Leap Ahead, she did this. We helped her actually brand, we did her logo, we did her website, we did all her team training, team compensation. But here's the thing. She went in and started changing things. She did, you know, she thought she knew better. And that happens. People sometimes think, oh, I know better. And how do they know better? They don't know better.
They have no idea.
So she started her business 3 years ago, and not until right before COVID, actually, that she started to become profitable. Why? Because she bought a ton of lasers. Right. She did not do a performance-based compensation model. She did her own thing, and she did not really follow the systems until finally one day I just had to almost like
V8 her, right?
Like what is
Should have had a V8.
What is wrong with you? The format changed.
Yeah, I got kicked off.
Oh. Why?
No worries. It's okay.
Oh, you didn't charge it?
I think it died.
Oh, it died.
So I just made it a little bit bigger.
Oh.
We're still here though.
Yeah. All right. So that's what I would do first, is find out what is your budget, how much are you willing to invest, and not only the investment in the actual equipment, but also in the marketing that is needed to actually launch this thing. That's what I had. One of our client relations representatives here was having a conversation with someone on the phone not too long ago. And this lady had just bought a $150,000 laser. So my client relations representative that works with us was trying to convince her to do some marketing to actually do that. Like she needed a new landing page on her website. She needed to update the website. She needed to do videos, like all things that we want to help her do. And you know what? She like, oh no, I can't afford that. Like, are you a frigging moron? Like, what is wrong with you? How can you even say that? You just spent over 100,000 buying a machine, and now you're telling me you can't invest in marketing it so you can get it busy. So what did she do? She basically has a coat hanger now. You're just putting your clothes on it and letting them sit on your $100,000 laser. So be smart. Don't just think, how much is my laser payment going to be? But then you also need to think, how much in marketing is it going to cost me to actually get this thing going? And when you do that, now you're being smart about what to introduce.
So would you say that's probably two of the main things of mistakes to avoid when launching a new revenue stream, is knowing if you have enough money to budget for the marketing, what's going to be your marketing aspect, and then also a part of that is the team member, right? You can't launch a new equipment if it's going to be the doctor having to be stuck in the room, adding to their list.
It's all part. You have to mind map the whole thing, like I've taught you at a Leap Ahead seminar. So you need to do your training for the team. Where are we putting this equipment? Do I need to remodel something for the room to bring it in? How much in marketing? How much in advertising? So those are all things that you have to take into account before you take the plunge. So don't be thinking that like Cool Sculpting, for example, right now, they're not happy just selling you one machine. They want to sell you two. That's what they do. True. And that's just, I'm sorry, but that's just plain stupid. I don't get it. Like, let's get one managing capacity, and then you can buy another one. And the whole pitch for that is, oh, but you can do the client in twice as less time. They're gonna come, they want to have their Cool Sculpting, they can have one area at a time. You don't need to buy two Cool Sculpting to offer Cool Sculpting. It's a sales pitch. So why should you go 300,000 in debt if you can go 150,000 in debt instead, or whatever their price is, and just do the treatment? That's just silly. So be smart. Don't go into so much debt because you want to launch different streams, but then you have so much pressure. And I just did an article, by the way, as to why businesses actually fail. The number one reason, and that's cash flow. So be careful. You don't want to just go and buy every machine possible because somebody sold you on it. You couldn't say no, or they had such a great special that you had to buy it immediately. So be careful. There are so many other treatments that you can do without having to go into such debt. Debt is hard. So just be careful. Make sure that you can handle it.
Dori, I have April here asking what your opinion is on this, or experience from our clients. When you purchase a new piece of equipment like that, a lot of the times the companies will then tell you, don't worry about it, we'll generate the leads for you.
Sure.
How does that work?
Yeah. So, when somebody's trying to sell something, they make you all kinds of promises. And it's sad because sometimes they do give you an allowance. That is true. They do give you an allowance for marketing. But the sad thing is the marketing company that they have an allowance with is clueless. They have no idea how to do marketing. That's one thing. And then the other thing is, when you're counting on somebody else to generate leads for you, there's nobody that's going to generate leads for you like you can generate leads for yourself. They might be there by your side for the first couple of years, then you never see them again. As a matter of fact, there's a joke in the laser industry, like, how do you get rid of a laser salesman? Buy a laser.
Because
you'll never see them again. So just be very careful. You are the one making the commitment to actually those payments that are going to come. There, 1 month comes after another very fast. So you want to make sure that you, not just whoever they're giving you have the proper marketing strategies to generate leads for that particular equipment. So just be aware, be smart. That's really the most important thing.
That was a great question, April, because it does happen all the time.
All the time. I mean, we had somebody, I was just talking with actually one of our clients in Augusta, Georgia, and they have a day spa. They are converting into a medi spa, and they have a plastic surgeon that's coming to join them in their beautiful day spa. And they have machines that are sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
Not even, like, they're not doing any marketing. They're not doing anything. And they just bought them. And they're just sitting there. And they told me that they had a company that's going to help them do the marketing. I'm like, okay, well, what have they done so far? Oh, well, we haven't seen anything yet. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. So just be careful.
Or one thing that I see a lot of time when helping clients build their websites is they'll drive them to that company's website. For instance, driving them to Cool Sculpting, and then everybody else that offers Cool Sculpting in your area is right there. Yeah. So it's like,
let's tell them about the
let
competition.
me tell you all the competition, right? And I just, so many times I smile. I'm like, no, we don't want that. They're like, but that's how I'm going to get leads. I'm like, that's how everybody's going to get the same lead. And it happens. The whole area gets the same lead, and it's whoever does it first.
So instead of them attempting to do like an event or do some kind of a podcast or do a webinar, like I taught you how to do webinars during the COVID, all these things, like all the marketing strategies that are in the marketing manual, there's 72 different ways to market your business. So I would definitely want to be proactive to actually do that marketing.
I think we might need to raise that. We're probably at 100 different ways, right? By how to market your business.
Yeah.
So I want to shift here just a little bit. We've talked about revenue streams, and then we just touched a little bit on prices. So I wanted to shift a little bit. In the book you mentioned not to compete on price, right? So can you tell me, why is it so important they don't compete on price?
Because there's always some fool that's going to be cheaper, that's willing to discount even more. And it's like suicidal. You're committing suicide when you start playing the price war games. You never win. You never win. So I was at the Millennium Mall the other day and walked into Tiffany. And, you know, Tiffany never has anything on sale. Why? Because they know that they're worthy, right? They never, you go into an Apple store. Do you know that Apple only has one sale a year? Do you know when it is? Black Friday, and you know what it is? It's a $100 gift card if you buy like
a new phone or
whatever, thousands of dollars worth of stuff, right? That's
it.
That is it. Now, what we teach is there's 2 times to give discounts in your medical spa. You should have your a la carte price, which should be your normal price, right? And it should be profitable enough to where anybody can come and pay that price. And then you need the membership price and then an event price for when you do your spa dollar strategy that we give. So those really should be the only 2 times you offer discounts. And any other time, it should be just your a la carte, just like Apple does. You come in, you just buy whatever. You go into Tiffany, you buy whatever. You go into Neiman Marcus, it's not like they have a sale every other day. They only have certain times of the year that they do their sales. So if you adapt that kind of mentality and philosophy that I am worthy, stand your ground, that you are worth every penny you charge. So then if somebody comes to you and says, well, do you have discounts? Then you say, well, we do via the VIP program that we offer. And then you're bringing them to that membership model, which then you don't mind giving discounts because you're getting that monthly reoccurring revenue all the time. So if you do that, you're good to go. But if you're just trying to compete to see who can have the cheapest Botox in your area, you're not going to win. You're going to be broke. And, you know, I look at it this way. If you do an average medical spa right now makes about $1 million in business. And frankly, that sucks. You know, clients of ours, I want you to make 2, 3, 4, 5 million, not $1 million. Because look at it this way. If you make $1 million, you're making 10% profit, right? So you're making 100,000 a year. When you're in business and you're taking all this risk, is 100,000 enough? It really isn't. Not for all the pressure and the stress and the headaches and the risk and, I mean, the sleepless nights. As an entrepreneur, you're carrying all this on your shoulders. So why did you go in business? You went into business so you can be more profitable. And that's why this chapter is so important, because I really want you to dig into your numbers and see how profitable you truly are. Because if you're not, you're just wasting your time. You bought yourself a job. You're just not being as comfortable as you could be. And that's the last thing you want to do. Very small percentages of entrepreneurs actually make, you know, in the top. I wrote an article about this, by the way, in the Dori Talks. It's on our website if you'd like to go watch it. How only 5% of people make above that. Of all entrepreneurs, only 5% make above 100. And it's like, why? Why? Because they don't have the 4 S's that we always talk about. They don't have the proper structure. They don't have the proper systems. They don't have the proper strategies or solutions. And that's why they're not performing up to the level. So my best advice is they need to decide, who do they want to be? Who do you want to cater to? And that really is back to positioning. And like, you should never want to be the cheapest game in town. Like, what's the point? If you're going to be in business, you might as well cater to the higher class, to the affluent, especially since we're in a business that's all about discretionary income. These people don't have to have what you offer, right? So you have to be very careful. And I would rather much compete on expertise instead. I just want to give them one little tip here. I don't know if you have other questions coming in or what, but one tip I have for you is to teach your guest relations team how to answer the price question. You get people calling in and saying, well, how much is your Botox? And your team would say, oh, it's $10 a unit. Like, you just want to slap them. Like, what are you? No, that's not how we answer that. That's not how we answer that at all. You need to be saying something like this instead. Oh, you're interested in Botox. That's great. Have you had Botox before? Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Let me tell you how we do Botox here. Now, one thing though I want to address right away. Are you looking for price or are you looking for expertise? Because if you're looking for price, we're probably not the least expensive you're going to find. But if you're looking for expertise, you're definitely calling the right place. And let me tell you why. So I just totally flipped their mindset from me answering the question to making the price irrelevant. It's not about price. I mean, who am I going to trust my face to? $8 a unit? Or would I rather pay $14, $15 and know that I'm going to get great results? I'm not going to look like...
Well, then you're not going to be embarrassed to go out or have some...
Yeah. So, I mean, how can you put a price on your face?
True. And it's a hard decision to make. I mean, people think they just walk into a men's salon and grab Botox, but when you go to make that decision, you're just thinking and thinking. Yeah. So I have a question here from Patrice online, Dori, and she goes, how often should I evaluate my pricing since you keep telling me I don't want to be the cheapest?
Yeah.
How often should they do that?
Well, when you're looking at the profitability by revenue stream, I mean, monthly, you should keep an eye on it because your product costs sometimes go up. So if a vendor tells you now the consumable is this much, then you better go on and pass that pricing to your consumers because you just cut your profitability some. So, I mean, you really want to look at it on a monthly basis, depending on what you have going on. And I would really advise to always refresh the menu at least once a year. Take a look at your menu at least once a year. See what's going on, what's good, what's not. Get rid of it, refresh it. As a matter of fact, that's probably one of the biggest challenges I think people experience when we're working one-on-one with someone is convincing them to raise their pricing.
Yes.
That's probably one of the biggest fears most of you have. is like, oh my gosh, how can I raise my price? And that's like my favorite thing to do. Like, we have raised our prices so much in the last few years, and I just did it. Like, I'm worthy.
Right.
We're worthy. I have a great team. We do good by you, so why not, right? You need to feel the same way. You should not fear raising your pricing. You should just see what you have. You want to make sure you are profitable and be able to set the price accordingly. But here's the secret, though, is that you definitely have to provide the value. You have to provide the experience. You have to provide the results. I'm not telling you just to raise the price and then not deliver. Be careful. That's suicidal too. So if you're going to charge people, just like the Tiffany, the Neiman Marcus, all these fancy restaurants, when you go to Morton's or Mastro's or wherever you go, Del Frisco's, all these fancy steakhouses, they're not ashamed of charging you their worth. They're not ashamed of charging you $85 for a piece of meat. They have no problem charging you that much for a steak. So why should you have a problem charging $15 a unit for your Botox? You shouldn't. So it's a decision. You can choose to be up here and deliver that, be the best that you can be, make sure your team is trained and skilled and they're communicating well. Or you can decide to be the bottom. Go ahead. You're probably not my client if you decide to do that, but that's fine. You're just not going to make much money. But if that makes you happy, hey, go right ahead. But why? Why would you want to do that? Is the question.
Well, I think it's all about the quality,
right? Absolutely.
I mean, if you're Groupon and people are looking for Groupon, they're not their ideal clients either.
Well, I call those hoes. They're hoppers. They're gonna hop right on out to the next deal that they find. That's not your client, so don't fool yourself.
So I have another statement here. You know, we talked about pricing, we talked about revenue streams, and then obviously with that comes having to pay out, right? So how much debt should a person go into to either bring on a treatment, start a business? Like, what is it?
You know, that's a tough decision. It really depends on your cash flow. Your cash flow determines how much in debt you can go. And you want to take into consideration at least a 6 months surplus. And that's why so many people got in trouble with, you know, COVID-19 when the shutdown. You know, some businesses had to go out of business, you know, not my clients, but thank God. But you have to really pay attention and make sure that before you make an investment, you have a good nest egg that can help you make the payments, even if you don't make money right away, and not hurt the rest of the business. Because the last thing you want to do, you know, that debt to income ratio is very important. So you just want to make sure that you have that surplus before you take the plunge. Because the last thing you want to do, again, is become part of that percentage and run out of cash. Once you run out of cash, you're done. you're finito. You don't want to do that.
I mean, and we have so many people that are like taking money from their personal banks to pay their payroll, and it's a nightmare. It is a nightmare.
Yeah, you have to be very careful, and that's why it's important to work with a business firm to get you that structure properly and make sure that you are going to have good financial health. Because at the end of the day, you know, some people focus more on, oh, how beautiful my place is going to be, instead of how am I going to drive traffic in there? What's my sales model, which we're going to talk about in upcoming chapters. How are we going to make money? How much revenue can we generate from each person? What's it going to take to generate those leads? How much is going to be my cost per lead? You need to know all these things. It's not just about having a beautiful place. Having beautiful places all fine and dandy, but if you don't have all these other 4 S's in place,
well, you have no one to show it to.
Exactly.
You've done all this. You're
gonna be there by yourself.
It's gonna be you enjoying your beautiful place. I mean, that's it, right? So, Dori, Glenn just popped in here and said you just talked about working with a business advisor. So how does someone determine what is sound advice and how they should choose working with somebody? Because I mean, we all know there's a million business advisors, and they all have something else. Isn't it about credibility?
No, it's really success stories. It's knowing how they've impacted other people's lives. It's like me telling you, okay, go talk to so and so and see what their experience has been with us. It's the same thing I teach you how to do, actually. I teach you to do live video testimonials, success stories, case studies, things like that. So you just have to be careful who you listen to. You want to listen to someone who has a proven, effective business model. And that's what we take pride in delivering, is that we have really perfected this model. And if you take it and implement it as we teach it, success is within your reach very quickly. You just have to follow it. That's really all you have to do.
Well, I think one thing to also look at, Glenn, if you're considering, is the history of it. Like we see in this industry all the time, there's a new advisor just popping up yesterday or last month.
I've
and
trained many of them. Actually, they copy us all the time.
I mean, we're constantly having to change and add more, not necessarily change, but add more, like the copy system, adding more things.
Changing it up.
So many people are following you, right?
You have to keep innovating. And, you know, and if you don't continue to adapt, innovate, and implement, then you're left behind. And that's really how you make a choice on who you want to work with. You look at them and you say, okay, here's what they've done. Here's the success that, you know, their clients have achieved. Then they must be on the right track. So let me hop on that wagon so they can help me get to success the fastest way possible.
And I love the years. Like for me, if you go to our Raving Fans and our YouTube, you can look and see the same clients that have been working with you for 8, 9, 10 years still have that same amazing testimonial. And to me, that has a lot of value rather than just having a bunch of Raving Fans on 1 month, but you have years.
Or they have their name, Tara L. Like who in the heck is that?
And like you said, I mean, we won't give people's names, phone number, and say, call her. Like,
absolutely.
Get on the phone. Yep, get on the phone, call them.
Yeah.
To me, that's so amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you're not
amazing.
afraid.
It's amazing because of you guys too. I mean, who we are as a team. It's not just about me by any means.
But I mean, again, although you see so many people, they're afraid to tell you, right? There's nothing to hide. Like we're proud of the success we've been able to give others.
That's what keeps us going. That's our passion, our purpose. That's why we do what we do. Is we want to see you succeed, and nothing makes us happier than to get those emails and
I know. I love them all the time.
Yeah.
So can I ask you before we wrap up here, what are some tools that you would recommend to those that are listening with us live, those that are watching this in a replay, Dori, to help them with their pricing that we spoke about, to help them with their capacity, anything like that?
There's a couple of things actually. Well, first of all, you should really get your hands on the menu development do's and don'ts. So that helps you create those revenue streams on how to create your menu and how to actually get your menu designed in a way that's going to be enticing. So one thing is assess your current menu and then do the menu development do's and don'ts. And then the other thing is definitely the pricing calculator. I mean, that should be your best friend. And that's such a small investment to ensure profitability. I don't even remember how much, some ridiculous amount. I think it's like $2.99.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's less than.
And it's an amazing tool, the pricing calculator. So if you're not being as profitable as possible, what I love about it is it allows you to put the price, it allows you to put the discount, and what is your consumable cost, your product cost, or whatever goes with it. And then it gives you a magic number of how much you should charge for that treatment if you want to make this kind of profit. It's an amazing tool. You will absolutely love it, and it will ensure your financial health. And then the other thing you really should get into on a private coaching session and just talk and discuss. There's nothing like having a conversation with someone to have somebody else look at something with new eyes. That's really sometimes all you need is new eyes, because we get so wrapped up. That's one thing I have to say I'm great at, is I'm always looking with new eyes. I don't like my old eyes. So you always want to look at things from a totally different perspective. When you do that, oh my gosh, just your imagination and your innovation just starts coming in. And before you know it, you have something brand new and exciting. that you want to do.
Masterpiece.
And that's really, those are the things I would definitely, so they're small little things, but they make a big impact.
And that, and you know, I get the pleasure to do coaching calls, and sometimes they'll get on the phone and they're like, I just want to run it by you to make sure I'm on the right track. Number one, I don't want to sit here and spend this time and then realize I'm missing one little piece that if I had included it, it would have been perfect. So it works. You know, your idea is great, but you want someone else to listen to it, right? That's in this. I have a client, she's like, I keep telling my husband, but he just looks at me and says, you need to call your people. So she's like, you're my people. I'm like, well, I'm glad that we're your people, right? So
that's funny.
Well, I think we're getting close to that time.
So
No reason to go over here. Well, so next, what, in 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
We're going to be doing paying the team a performance-based compensation model, which is so needed. So needed.
That's probably, besides the money that you want to generate in your business, that's probably one of the most important things is how you compensate your team. And sadly, but true, most people pay the wrong way. And we're going to fix that for you next week. So start reading the chapter on performance-based compensation model. It might blow your brain a little bit.
But don't worry, she will fix it.
I will fix it for you.
And I think that's the last part about the financial health.
Yeah.
And
that's chapter 4 we'll be doing next week. And I have to tell you that
it'll be the week after next week. We're doing this every other week.
Every other week.
We almost made that mistake.
Yes. Every other week. And your team, to prepare for that, what you might want to do for this week, as you read it, is calculate your ratio for your compensation. So what percentage of your overall revenue is your compensation? You need to know that number. And all you have to do is take how much you pay out and divide it by the gross revenue, and that's going to give you a percentage. You need to know what that percentage is. Is it 30%? Is it 20%? Is it 40%? Is it 50%? What percentage is it? Because we're going to fix that next week and show you how you can reduce your payroll costs, but improve performance. Because when your team performs, you're able to pay them more. But because they're generating more, your percentages actually will go down in how much you pay out. So it works beautifully. So that's what we're going to do.
And who said numbers weren't sexy?
No, I say that because that's how people feel about it.
But you know, when they have their head wrapped into it, they can see their business based off of the numbers. I think it gives them so much more satisfaction knowing that they have a healthy business. So
we have a couple of exciting things we're starting out in our brand new studio. We have a brand new show called Meet the Experts, and it's going to be 2 versions of that show. We're going to do some business to business relations of Meet the Experts, but then I want to help you guys come on Meet the Experts, and then you can use your show that we can help you do to market your business to other people. So you can use the as seen on Meet the Experts. So we're working on that. And then the other new thing that we're starting that we wanted to be different is, for the last 10 years, we've been doing the InSPAration Moments newsletter. So we decided, since we've done it for 10 years, let's do something different. So moving forward, we started it actually last month. We're going to do Dori Talks, and I'm just going to be doing articles, the featured article on Dori Talks, and then announce any other special things that we have going on. So I want you to go to the InSPAration Management YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notifications, because we're always putting things on YouTube, just like this. The book gathering is on YouTube. And we're actually creating a brand new YouTube channel just for Meet the Experts, even though it's going to be also on InSPAration Management. But those are 2 things that we are so excited about launching. We're actually putting out a couple of emails about it to show you how you can apply to be on Meet the Expert, so we can help you market your business. We're going to start definitely with our members first. So we have actually Sue coming down to our office in a couple of weeks, and we're going to do an in-person in our studio, in the Brewing Brilliance studio. And those are the kind of things we want to start doing to help you grow your business And that's some of the
Can't
things.
wait. I'm
I
so
know.
excited.
We
And
are.
we have a couple lined up, and we have a client launching a new
Yeah.
private label. I can't wait to see that one too.
Yeah.
So they're
Very
all like,
excited.
I want to meet with Dori. I need to sit with the expert.
Yeah.
So here we go.
So we're very excited.
Perfect.
So that is it for us today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining
Yes.
us. It was fun. Thank you, Sarah. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Tara,
My
for all your
pleasure.
help. And thank you all for joining us. Let's go ahead and check out those numbers, see what's making you money, what's not. And if you're brand new, we can definitely help guide you towards the treatment that's going to help you make the most without a major investment up front. So there are many things that you can do. So reach out. You can always reserve a success planning session and let one of my team members help you.
And if you're just watching this for the first time, you can still go on Amazon and get Dori's book. And those of you that are with us and went on Amazon and got Dori's book, we would love for you to go give us a review and say how amazing it is. And it'll also make you keep in touch, because rumor has it she's doing a 4th book. So you're going to have to be one of the first to get your hands on it. So
I am indeed.
yes, she is.
All right, you guys. Well, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. And until next time, stay inspired.